First off, it is just weird to believe that this is our last episode of the season.
Tonight is there forever. I want to watch it with my grandkids. That's me and the online student experience podcast.
Back in
Back in
my
my
day.
days. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final episode of the Online Student Podcast. And of course, today we have Dallas and me, João Malenga, who are the host of this podcast. Actually, today we're going to be doing an overview how the podcast was, and we'd like also you to, in the comment section to say how you like this podcast. But Dallas, tell me something. During this podcast, we talked about several topics. What do you have to say in general about the podcast? I know that today will not be like questions format. We're gonna go
hmm
back and forth. But so far, what do you think about this season two of Online Student Podcast?
First off, it is just weird to believe that this is our last episode of the season. I feel like we just started a couple weeks ago, but this is episode 12. Like
Wow,
it's
yeah.
we've been doing this for 12 weeks, which is so crazy. But throughout those 12 weeks, it's just been so nice getting like knowing a lot of people, knowing more about staff, student things on campus because a lot of what you guys were listening to and learning about, we were learning the same time, especially for things like the library resources. Those things would have been so helpful to me in graduate school. And so it's nice being able to kind of reflect and bring those sort of resources to life. Um, and overall, it's just this has been a really exciting experience. I've never been a part of a podcast before, so as much as we've been learning about the different resources and helping, we've also been learning about things like production, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and talk about production. I learned a lot about production, working with new software, and also new editing skills. Because after the podcast, we go through the editing process, and I learned a lot. And more importantly, during the editing process, I had the opportunity, to recap and also to listen more carefully about some things I didn't understand during the podcast a live session. It was real a lot. And of course, we'd like to also to say thank you to the listeners and watchers of the podcast because this podcast was actually made for you. Okay, because you were always there sharing support. We could see on our Spotify and YouTube analytics that there are actual people listening to us and watching also the podcast, and it's been really a good experience. And as Dallas said, today is the last episode. I didn't even realize like today was the last episode. When I was coming here, I was like, okay, it's another episode, and we're gonna be continue doing the next
Nope.
few weeks. So it's really unfortunate to see that the podcast is going to an end, at least this second season. But it's also there is also this feeling of accomplishment, which I feel
hmm
like we had the opportunity to learn new things, to meet new people. And for me, one of the episode I really enjoyed most. I enjoyed all of them, by the way, but there is one that touched my heart, which is the staying well while studying. It
hmm
was talking about well-being because I'm a student right now. I'm studying, and I'm a master student in the learning technology program, and the working studying sometimes it can be overwhelming, and the tips were really insightful. And if you didn't watch this episode, I recommend you to go to our YouTube or Spotify and watch it again. Even me, I'm going to be watching this episode and other episodes over and over again, because I think like as online students, having this kind of program like podcast is really important so that we can move on. We can feel like, okay, we belong to university and there are people out there who care about us.
hmm
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing with this podcast is at first glance, it may seem like, oh, it's just two people providing information about UNT, but there's deeper layers to it. We truly are not only wanting to provide information resources for students or potential students who are interested in UNT, but this is also our way of connecting, building that community, especially since we primarily serve online students, and they're unable to, meet us in person and come onto campus. And so this is also our way of getting to know you guys and just chit chat, and have just like an open conversation, which is what I really enjoy about our layout, is like how casual it is.
Yeah.
It's like it's not very formal, like pen and paper kind of formal
Yeah.
interview. It's like we're in comfortable chairs. We're just talking to each other,
Yeah, that's right.
which is honestly one of the best things, is just being able to show the audience, show the listeners that we're people.
Yeah.
We're people, but we're also here to serve as a resource.
Yeah, and it also serves as a relief to our minds as staff members, because as I said before, this is not only like we are doing it in a very robot way, because we are humans. Some of us are students as well. We feel what you feel, although I strongly believe we may have some differences in terms of experiences, but we try to take those similarities that we all have, and we try to make it easy for you guys to understand and make sure that you are having a good experience at UNT,
Mm-hmm.
because the essence of our team is to, to make sure the students are having good experience. They are having a sense of community and belonging here at UNT. As Dallas said, we are humans. We are here. We understand that life happens, and you have different schedule. But whenever you can also listen to the podcast. Or if you have some time, you can walk in, talk to one of our guests, because all of them they drop their contact. You
Mm-hmm.
are free to contact them, and it's gonna depend also on the type of service that we have. And talking about our guests, we had wonderful, gorgeous people here, people who are really, ready to serve. They are
Mm-hmm.
natural servers. They were here with very insightful tips, content, knowledge, and patience to share whatever they good with us, and also with the audience who are our online students, and not only online student, because even in-person student, I heard last time they are also watching. One guy, he stopped at me, he say, hey, I saw you on the podcast. I say like, whoa, good. And I asked him, hey, are you an online student? He said, no, I'm actually an in-person student. It means that we are reaching, I mean, we are also reaching those students who are
Mm-hmm.
not online student, and this is good because we are all students. We are all part of the UNT, and moving back to the speakers, they had wonderful contributions, which I think will always be in our
Mm-hmm.
minds. I don't know about you, Dallas. What do you think about it?
Oh no, I just love talking to people in general, and so this podcast has also just been a nice opportunity just to sit and chat and meet new people. But it's also been enjoyable, like you mentioned earlier. Like the people we interviewed are here to, they're truly passionate about informing people about what they do, the different resources available, and I could definitely see that not only during the recording but before and after the recording. Especially for me, before I'd reach out to people, they'd be like, "Is this okay? Should I mention this? Is there something else you want me to dwell, like you want to emphasize a little more?" Um, and then I could see how excited and passionate they were. There was, I'm sure Alonzo is fine with me mentioning this, or so. So I think it was before or after we recorded our episode with Zoe, and I think that was episode two, three.
Must be two with you and me.
No, it was me and Alonzo, which do
It must be
activities.
three or five.
Whichever one it is.
Yeah.
I remember in that episode afterwards, I was thanking him for, coming out and recording with us. And he said, "Hey, any excuse to get out of the office and just get to have fun somewhere else, I'll take." And that's really how I kind of got the feeling overall it's just a nice opportunity to get out of the office, get out of your space, and talk to people about what you do and what you love in a different area.
And we had students here, so
Mm-hmm.
I remember Shannon and the other guy,
Josh. Mm-hmm.
Josh. They were here. They provided a lot of useful tips and also their own experience insights, how
Mm-hmm.
to deal, with some, with some stuff that come uniquely when you are an online student. It means that we had here online student participating. We had student, we had staff, and we made like this in this season. We made sure like everybody could participate. We had also our manager, Andrea Carway, who came here for 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
She gave us a lot of support on how students should be using the different resources that we have, and also insights about programs that we have been developing. And it was really good. I remember when I was with one of the students here from music department or music college. He
Mm-hmm.
gave us a lot of insight about how music can help us and also
Mm-hmm.
can hinder our learning. That was really good because I never thought about that perspective before. It also happened when you were interviewed the librarian. I guess you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned this. That was good. I didn't have an idea of the amount of resources that we have in the
Yes.
library that we could use. And you said, I remember that you said like, when I was in my master's or when I was studying, I didn't know that those
Mm-hmm.
resources exist. And I'm a real student right now, and I didn't know a lot of them. And to be honest, I'm not using even some of them now. I'm using some, okay. I'm reading some books. I'm renting some online materials. I even rent also a PlayStation 5 last time before
Okay.
I bought my PS5 because there the media library
Yep.
services they also give a lot of stuff. I was like, wow, this is real.
I know.
Yo,
It's like I was just randomly thinking of this with an institution like UNT where we have thousands and thousands of students. That also means we have thousands and thousands of resources. And that's where it can kind of get overwhelming because, for example, with the library, we get a general idea of what the library is and what they do. But when people realize all that they can do, it can kind of seem overwhelming. But it's nice being able to have like an episode like the podcast with the librarian kind of break down the most important things and provide information and directions on how to do that. Because especially as an online student, you have access to so many things online,
that's right.
million emails, things like that, and so it can become very overwhelming as an
Yeah,
online student having to keep up with everything. And so it's a great opportunity to have podcast episodes like these where we invite a guest and they are able to summarize, provide what they do and what services they provide within 20 minutes.
that's right. That's right. So, I have a special announcement to make. Well, I'm graduating this May. Hey, yes, 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 yes. So, it means that I won't be here at UNT anymore, like as a graduate assistant, because I'm gonna graduate. I wish you say, hey, congratulations, thank you so much. And yeah, probably I'm not returning for the following season. And hopefully, if it happens, I don't know what's gonna happen because we're gonna have a new GA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we can have another season. If not, I don't know what's going on
We'll
next.
see.
And yeah, I like to say thank you. I hope you could enjoy the moment I was here with you, hopefully, because it's gonna stay forever in our memories, in our collective memory. Because
And on the
yeah,
internet
it
forever.
was recorded. The internet is there forever. I want to watch it with my grandkids. That's me and the online student experience podcast
Back in
back in
my
my
day.
days.
And it's so funny because speaking of viewers, my mother watches these podcasts
Yeah.
because she sees and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're famous!" And I was like,
Ah.
"Thanks, mom. I try." But it's honestly been so great being able to work on this podcast with you. We have done so much within these past 12 weeks, and I can't believe like and soon it's going to be April, and then you just have 1 month left before you
Yeah,
graduate,
that's
and then
right.
you go become an adult.
Yeah, yeah, having a real life, a real experience out there in the world, which has been wild over these days.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
But I guess we'll kind of wrap it up like that.
yeah.
If there are any certain like resources or information you would like to learn more about, you can go ahead and drop a comment below. We still have events going on the rest of the semester, so please check us out on our social media. You can also check us out on our website. If you go to ose.unt.edu, if you scroll to the bottom of the page, you can see all the virtual events that are happening on campus. I realize that not everyone knows that if they go to our website that you could see all the virtual events.
Yeah,
Because
that's weird.
I know I had an event this week.
Actually, I didn't know before I started working too. But there is a website, yeah, UNT events, which you can see all the virtual events that's gonna happen. Yeah,
Yep, that's actually gonna be my little hack and tip for anyone who's watching or listening. Because I realize not everyone knows this.
yeah,
If you go to the UNT calendar, I think it's calendar.unt.edu,
hmm,
you can see all of the events happening on campus.
that's right.
And there is an option under the filters to put your experience as virtual. You can see all the virtual events happening. Utilize that.
Use it.
But I'll go ahead and swing it over to you.
Well, I just want to say thank you all. Thank you, our guests. Okay, hopefully our guests can watch this episode. I want to say thank you. You contributed a lot for this podcast come to life, and I'd like also to thank my team, Dallas, Andrea, and also our ambassador, online students ambassador, Mahi, Aisatu. Aisatu was also one of our guests,
Mm-hmm.
and that was just a wonderful episode. And you all contributed for this podcast to be the way it was. For me, it was a success. I don't know what you think about it. And then you can leave your comment and suggestion about it so we can improve it maybe in the next um, seasons. And more importantly, you stay connected with us in ways possible. So, guys, hopefully you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and also to our Spotify. And Dallas, I don't know if I can say see you next time, but I can say see you next time. Maybe you can see me on campus or anywhere.
Hey, either way, we at least I will see you next
Yeah,
time.
at least I will see you.
Thank you guys so much for watching or listening, and go Mean Green.
Go Mean Green! Yeah!